Olá e bom dia from Lisbon, Portugal. As you can probably tell, we are much more well-rested than our last video.
So much better.
Yeah, so if you missed our last video, we did a 24-hour travel day to get here in Lisbon, Portugal, and what an adventure that was. So if you missed it, you should definitely go back and watch the journey.
Yes, and I am so grateful to finally be here. This is actually our 5th country out of our 50 country goal, which means that we are 10% done with completing that goal, which is really crazy. But to start off today in Lisbon, we are going to get some breakfast with some pastel de nata.
Cadê o psicólogo? Cadê o antropólogo? Cadê o homem da pesquisa?
We are currently walking to our breakfast spot, but I wanted to stop and say that the city is absolutely incredible, and being here is very refreshing after being in South America and the US for quite some time. There's just so many new things to look at and new things to learn.
Yeah, and a whole new language. We've been hearing Spanish for the past couple months, and so last night we actually sat down and learned some Portuguese words, which was really exciting for us because it's been a while since we had to learn a few new words to a new language that we've never really heard before. And also, I'm so excited about the cuisine because there are just gonna be new ingredients. We're on a new continent, and I am so stoked for the food here. I think seafood is huge in Portugal.
Wow. Look at this view, guys. It's incredible.
I know.
It's like, well, Claire, are you excited?
Yeah, I'm so excited. This is the thing that I've been looking forward to most in Portugal, and let me tell you why. So these are pastéis. We got a lot of them, as you can see, because I need to fill all of my cravings while we're here. And the last time I ate a Portuguese egg tart was over in Macau, and ever since I ate that, I've been dreaming of eating them again in Portugal, and now today is the day that this dream comes true. Oh my gosh, my heart is racing. So I just picked it up and I could hear the little crisps from the flakiness around the tart, and oh my gosh. So I grew up eating the Cantonese egg tarts when we would go to dim sum places, but I've got to say these definitely have them beat because the inside is just so much creamier, and I think the outside, like the flakiness of it, is also a little bit better than the Cantonese egg tart. So I will say the Portuguese egg tart takes the win. So tomorrow we're gonna go visit the original place that made these Portuguese egg tarts, and so once we get there tomorrow, I'll tell you the history about the pastel de nata.
Claire got far too excited and forgot to put the cinnamon and the powdered sugar on, which apparently is essential. Do you know how much they put on?
Generous amounts, apparently.
It's pretty generous. All right. Ooh, I'm so excited. Okay, I have to say, the cinnamon and the sugar add a lot. They add a lot to it. Like, it's really good.
I didn't get in my first bite. So with breakfast, I let Chad get some coffees this morning. And then we also have a ham and cheese croissant here.
So behind me is the Santa Justa lift, and you can actually pay to ride it up to the top. I believe it's about 10 to 12 stories from what I can tell, but we are actually not gonna do that. We're gonna exercise a little bit and hike to the top, which is free to do, and then you can get an amazing overlook of the entire city. So we just made it to the top of the elevator, and the hike up, it's
it's not a hike, it's honestly just a 5-minute stroll up a tiny little hill, and then we got up here for free, so I would highly recommend that if you are visiting Lisbon. And the views are so amazing. We're here around the late morning, and I think the lighting is just right. I don't know if you all have noticed from the walking shots we've had here around Lisbon, but the streets are literally works of art.
And something else I want to add is the streets are made of limestone. I don't know if that gives them this reflective quality or not, but they bounce light throughout all of the streets and even off of the buildings, because the buildings are actually made with a lot of tile that's also very colorful.
Right, so everything just looks like it's lined with sequins and it's sparkling like crazy, and I'm in love.
So we've been walking around the Barrio Alto district for about 30 minutes to an hour, just admiring tiles. Because back in 1755, just a little bit of history for you, they actually had a gigantic earthquake here that destroyed a lot of the city. And so they were in desperate need of a lot of tiles, and that's when it became this artisanal craft. Also, another little side note is that the tiles are used to help protect the buildings from, I guess, the sea air. Apparently it can help the buildings not decay as fast because they kind of protect it with that tile layer on the outside. So we've made it to Commerce Plaza, and we want to give you guys a few first impressions of our time in Lisbon already. So one of the first things that I ever recognized is right when we arrived, our Airbnb host was extremely calm and present with the moment, and that has kind of continued with every single person that we've come across here, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And just walking through the streets, the ambiance is just very slow paced and very laid back, and I really like that about Lisbon. And maybe it's because we just came from South America, where it's very hustle and bustle, but it's kind of nice to just be in a place that's a little bit more tranquil, and I've really enjoyed that. I also want to note that the people here are dressed very nicely. So with all of that said, we are going to start making our way back to our Airbnb for a little afternoon break, just because we are still a little bit jet lagged. So we're gonna take a nice little nap, and then we're gonna head back out into the city when it's dinner time. On our way back to the Airbnb, we decided to make a quick detour because Portugal is known for their canned sardines, and I want to pick some up so that we can try them in our Airbnb.
So we just left the sardine shop, and Tiago was so kind. He explained all the different types of fish that they have, and honestly, that was such a special experience. It's a lot smaller of a store than other places we've seen, and I'm really excited to try the product because it seems to be really good quality.
So we went into the sardine shop not knowing that we would be coming back with so many cans of different fish. So this will actually be our dinner for the night.
And something I want to add about these sardines is that here in Lisbon, or I guess in Portugal in general, they are seen as a delicacy, whereas in the US, I think it's not seen that way at all.
Yeah, canned food in the US is like the quickest thing that you're trying to use to make dinner. Here, it is not that. And that is why we want to try their sardines, because they have perfected the way of canning them.
So the cannery that we chose to go to is called Conservaria de Lisboa, and it was actually founded in 1930, so I believe it's about 90 years old, which is pretty crazy.
And on top of that, we also chose this place because they have really good prices, and apparently their sardines are made in a more traditional way than the ones that you would find at the grocery store. So today we will be trying 4 different types of canned fish. So these aren't just sardines, because we're actually talking to Tiago, the owner, and he was saying that most tourists go for the sardines, whereas a lot of Portuguese locals go for the mackerel and the tuna. And so we got 2 different sardines, 1 tuna, And then one special one, do you want to tell them what this is?
Horse mackerel, which is apparently in between something like a sardine and something like tuna, right? So the first one that we're trying is the sardines in olive oil.
So we did get the sardines that are the full fish because apparently it's just more flavorful and overall just better tasting. But you can get the fillets, which won't come with bones or skin. Cheers!
Solid.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And I think the olive oil is just really nice because it doesn't take away from the flavor. You can really taste the fish. All right, so the next one we're trying is sardines with lemon.
Ooh, this one has a gold can.
Oh.
Or tin. Cheers. Very different.
It is really different. It's almost like a lemon essential oil. It's not like the sourness that you get from lemon juice. It's very fragrant in that way. So now we are on to the tuna fish, the one that the Portuguese locals love.
Whoa, it's so tough.
It's very firm. Ooh, it's spicy.
Yeah, the spicy ones are good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So we got the tuna in the spicy olive oil, and it's got a tiny little kick to it, which I do really like.
I've never had tuna like this. It's really good.
Right. And the last one is the horse mackerel, which the owner was highly, highly recommending. And this is in a spicy tomato sauce. Ooh, I love the tomato. That is a really good fish. I think this one might be my favorite.
I think this one's probably my least favorite.
Oh, I really like it.
I like the tuna a lot.
Really? The tuna was my least favorite.
No, I think that's my favorite.
Ah, we have different opinions. That is why you have to get a variety.
Yeah. To pair with our fish feast, we have a bottle of ginja, which is a Portuguese liqueur that is made by infusing these cherries with this other liqueur. But we actually got this bottle because it was left here at the Airbnb, and our Airbnb host was like, "You are welcome to have it. It's actually a local ginja liqueur that we should try."
Cheers.
Cheers.
Wow. That is incredibly sweet.
It's very sweet. It's also very strong.
Yeah, I feel like I just drank syrup with an entire shot of alcohol. It'll pair great with all of our salty fishes.
Yes. So we have made some rice and onions to make our fish feast a little bit more substantial. Now we're going to watch a show and just enjoy. Well, dinner was absolutely incredible, but I think we're going to end it here for today, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for day 2 in Lisbon.
Hello and welcome to day 2 in Lisbon, Portugal. We are going to go and start the day with some traditional Portuguese dishes. So our meal comes with some warm bread, and they fry out some butter, but they also have this thing called pate, which I've never had before. It smells kind of like cat food, like tuna.
Cat food.
I put a lot on, so I should be able to taste it. It tastes like the stomach of the fish. You know when you have like a whole fried fish and you're like digging into it, and then you taste this like slightly bitter and very fishy taste in the middle of the fish, and that's like the stomach. That's what this tastes like. It's an acquired taste for sure. I will say, the more I eat this pate, the more it starts to taste like an oyster. It starts to grow on you, you know? Chad hasn't eaten much of it. There's a fly on my head. So the very first thing that we got is bacalhau, and it's said to be the national dish of Portugal, and it's basically a salted and dried codfish, and there are 365 ways that you can prepare this fish, one for every single day of the year, but this is the way that the restaurant has prepared it. And the second thing we got is polvo a la lagueiro. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but this is a traditional Portuguese octopus dish. And basically it is cooked in generous amounts of Portuguese olive oil and also baked with these little potatoes. And this olive oil apparently gives it a fruity yet bitter taste, so I'm going to give both of these a try.
Start with the octopus.
Yes.
Claire has been so excited for this one.
I know, I've been talking about this octopus dish for days. Wow. I would have never guessed that was octopus because of how tender it was. Usually octopus is like extremely chewy, but this one, it almost tastes like crab in the way that it falls apart in my mouth, and it's very savory in flavor, and maybe that's why it comes with all these vegetables so that I can eat it all together.
What do you have here, Claire?
So for dessert, we have a small little port wine to share. Interesting, it's kind of like that ginger that we had yesterday, but a little bit less alcoholic and a little bit less sweet. So we have now made it to Belém Tower for a nice dreamy picnic as we watch the sunset over the waters, and we picked up something very special.
So we picked up some pastel de nata, or pastéis de nata if it's plural. Anyways, what's really special is that they came from this bakery that has been open since 1837, and it was actually opened by these monks that had to leave this monastery back in 1820 when there was this revolt. Basically, these monks had no way to make money, so they opened up this pastry shop, and now they have their world-renowned pastries that have been going on for hundreds of years, which is crazy.
So these are the original pastel de nata, and they actually have their own original recipe, which makes it a little bit different from other pastel de nata.
Cheers!
So now that I've eaten an entire egg tart, even though these are cold, they're way better than the ones from yesterday. So if you do come to Lisbon, make your way over to Belém and get some of these because it is worth the time and the money.
We're making our way back to the metro station, but we've decided to make a quick stop at this gigantic statue that makes me think about how Portugal used to be seen as the end of the world because there was no new discovered land west of this point. So it actually has inspired this type of music called fado, which is known for its melancholy sound, and I believe a lot of it is tied to poetry about loved ones that are either lost at sea or just out at sea for a very long time. But with that said, we're gonna go back to the metro station and head to our Airbnb.
The memories they all twist and turn.
We just picked up our little ornament for Portugal, and it's very squishy, so it'll pack very nicely in our carry-ons. And basically it is a handmade sardine with little button eyes, and I chose this blue and orange one because it reminded me of the tiles that are here. So very cute, and I'm so excited to hang it on our tree.
Well, friends, our first 48 hours in Lisbon have flown by and it's been absolutely incredible, and I'm so excited for the rest of our time in Portugal, especially because we are joined by our friend Squishy, who's just so cute.
Country number 5 has been a dream so far, and we have some more days here. So if you do want to follow along on the adventure, definitely hit subscribe. And with that, we will see you guys next time. Bye!